everyone, we're back with another video today, and today's video is basically going to be about kind of explaining our situation and how we came about to deciding to go with shared ownership basically. So basically last year I bought a property with my parents, so knowing that going into something with Toby was virtually impossible, because as soon as I attach my name to anything, we lose our first time buyers privileges. So anything that is for first time buyers, we wouldn't be able to get together because I already owned a property technically, even though I owned it with my parents. So things such as shared ownership, any government help to buy, ISIS we could have gotten, but first time buyers, new build properties we couldn't really attain because I already owned a property technically, like legally I owned a property. So yeah, going off of the back of that, we obviously wanted to go into something together. When we're looking, the prices were stupid, like so dumb, and they kind of just assumed that if it's going to be a second property, you have like some type of sustainable income, like a lot of income coming in. So it was just a lot harder to go into something together whereby I'm not a first time buyer and then we lose all of our privileges to do with first time buying. Obviously Toby hasn't bought a house just yet at that point anyways, so he still had his first time buyer privileges. So hence why we went back and forth with a lot of different things. We did like help to buy with like new builds where the government gives you like 40% of the share price of the property, of the property price. Like they loan you that amount of money, and then obviously you only have to fork like 5% of the property price for a deposit, so on and so forth. We looked into that, but it just wasn't financially feasible for like one person to do on one person's salary as well. So yeah, we kind of looked everywhere. We started off in like Erith with help to buy. We ended up in Brentwood, which is Essex, just outside the M25. It was a really nice area. We were kind of really set on that one as well. This was a new build as well, nice area. And then I guess we started looking at shared ownership.
Because that's, I guess, just obviously going on from what you were saying, shared ownership just seems, I guess, more affordable, if you like, in that sense. Or for myself alone anyway, because, you know, we basically were hitting so many like brick walls and just like, so challenging being able to go in something together, obviously knowing that it's going to be for us anyway in the long term. But it's just on paper, you know, they want to see that you as an individual, so me myself, I'm able to afford literally everything and be comfortable. You know, even if something, you know, dramatic was to happen, that I was to be able to afford it. So going forward, so we started looking for things for myself, because we basically, you know, we accepted that we can go into anything together. There was not much that could really be done about that. So yeah, we started looking at, you know, things just based on my salary alone. Again, with that was proven, you know, quite hard as well. I was getting told that I'd have to increase my income, or
double your salary.
I'd have to have a
one Barclays lady, Barclays mortgage advisor, we went there and we're like, oh okay, we just want to know like our options going forward, kind of get some advice about mortgages and about kind of attaining some type of property between us where we can move into it. She basically, long and short of it, she was like, oh, unless you guys magically like double your income, then it won't be possible for you, not anytime soon. Most people, basically her justification was that most people buy their first property from 30 onwards, so we're basically ahead of the game. She was like, oh, congratulations to you guys for starting to think about it, but unfortunately unless you guys magically double your income, it's going to be very near enough impossible. Can't lie, after that mortgage thing, I was like, oh, what are we gonna do?
I know, exactly. You know, going back to the drawing board sort of thing. You know, like I was saying, it was just like always hitting brick walls, whether it's financially this one, and now you even thought about what I thought about, obviously how I was going to be able to increase my income as well, what I was going to be doing, obviously, because we set up for the year with the plan of obviously, you know, getting something by this year, or end of the year anyway. So we started to look at different ways where I could increase that, what could I do here and there and stuff like that to just boost it up. So yeah, going forward, we just started to book viewings, here and there with different shared ownership properties, because again that seemed a bit more feasible. Again, not a new build as such, but it was just like a shared ownership resale scheme. So that's basically it's basically someone's lived in it, but they're sort of reselling it, so it's no longer a new build.
Yeah.
But it's a resale, so it's a bit more affordable as opposed to something that's a new build that you're trying to go for outright. So again, with shared ownership, it's you purchase a percentage of that, and then you pay a rent on whatever you don't own until I guess you own 100%.
Yeah.
So it depends on what you can afford. If you want to go, for 25% to start off with, then that's fine, and then you can obviously always increase it. I guess as you please, really. So went for a few viewings. We saw one in Erith as well. Applied for that one. We thought it was going to be an affordable deal with the calculations. Obviously, they don't know that it's going to be Elisa and I that are going to be obviously paying everything monthly together. Which is what I was saying. Obviously, they just want to see that it's I'm able to afford by myself, but what they don't know, it is affordable based on both of us. But on paper, it's not affordable just for myself. But obviously, they don't know the ins and outs. But essentially, we applied for that one. Everything sort of came back, and then they just said based on the threshold that I was just over that a little bit. So yeah, it wasn't deemed affordable for that one. So yeah, I guess look forward a bit more, look at a few more viewings here and there. I think we even looked into Bromley, just different areas really. Yeah, so then long and short of it, ended up finding somewhere. Elisa just sent me a link one day that I'll have a look at this, and it just ended up being property in Purfleet. Because we've looked at so many properties, we ended up getting things confused and mixing and matching them up, because it's we've viewed so many, we've inquired about so many, we've looked into so many, you end up sort of muddling them up. So she sent me this one, and then I looked into it, I inquired about it, and then they got back to me. We arranged a viewing literally for like I think a week after. The viewing was on the 18th, I believe, 18th of May. Yeah, 18th of May. So yeah, went to view it, met a couple. So this is a property in Purfleet, by the way. Met a couple that were selling it. They were very welcoming. Yeah, they were in there with their family. It's quite a big family, so obviously they're looking for something bigger. So obviously we had to view it briefly, so we couldn't really soak things in properly. Couldn't take much footage as well, because obviously there's children in there. And there was safeguarding issues. Obviously I work with children, so I know how that is. So yeah, after we left the viewing, they just said, they'll put in a word for us, but we obviously need to do our bit as well in terms of the application stuff, which we've obviously informed you guys of, obviously, in previous videos. So we put all of that through, and essentially, we were able to find something that's affordable just based on my income, without me even having to boost it as such, which is really, really good, because obviously, the ins and outs will be that Elisa and I were paying for, it. Together. It won't just be with myself, but the fact that I'm able to afford something on paper for myself was absolutely fantastic. So essentially, that's our story really, and what were the barriers and the challenges that we faced thus far. But obviously, everything that we've done through this process. What's up? I'm not talking too much. Oh, sorry. I think he's getting a little bit emotional or something. Because it is overwhelming that we actually have, found something, and we're literally, I'd say, at the latter stages now where everything's getting processed behind the scenes, and we're just waiting for a contract to sign it, and then completion date.
It's been a very
goodness me.
long period. Like you actually have to have a bit of tough skin to kind of start this process, or else you just be like, oh, forget it. Like I'm just so over it. I'll look at it again next year.
Exactly.
Next year comes and you're just like, I'm not bothered,
Because
because it's constantly like, obviously considering that we wanted a property close to London or relatively around the area that we grew up in. It's constant like, if you look outside a bit more, you find things that are more affordable. Your income, your age, your circumstance, or the things that we're stacking up against us to say no all the time, which is up here, and the things that we're like yes, or like literally just him, just here, if that. So yeah, it's been a long process. take your no's as a lesson learned, so you know next time, okay, what I can go for, what I can't go for. Because we literally did a process of elimination basically, because if you're constantly getting no's, all right, that avenue's not going to work, let's try somewhere else. That's kind of what we're doing. We're going to like house first time buyers conferences and stuff. We were speaking to financial advisors, we were online searching on Share to Buy, Zoopla, Rightmove, constantly looking. Like it literally wasn't a day where we weren't looking at one point. So everything kind of worked itself out. We kind of drew back a bit and was just like, do you know what, we'll just carry on saving and see what happens. And then like literally the next day I saw that email and I just sent it to Toby. I was like, this is it, this is it, let's give this one a go. And we did, and we were chosen for that house as well. So I'm very grateful for kind of like the lessons that we've learned. I felt like I'm a tougher person after that process.
It
like,
does show you a lot of it.
It's palpitations, constant palpitations, but you know it's all for a good cause as well. So yeah, the reason we just wanted to obviously make this video to just explain kind of our personal circumstances, what we're going through, and how we've kind of gone around it and made it work for us. So
thank you. We hope you guys enjoy the video and hope you learn something from it, and hopefully someone can relate to it. We obviously know everyone's situation is different, be it financially, whatever it may be, but you know, our advice to you would just be like, never sort of give up, always persevere. There's definitely something out there, and yeah, we're a living testimony to that. That obviously God willing, in a few months we'll be in our own place in Perfleet. And yeah, thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.